Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. This month we're exploring the amazing world of Thai cuisine, inspired by the master himself, David Thompson. Now, Thai food traditionally was not made by one person in the kitchen on their own. It was made by a group of people. Thais are very gregarious, and so they gather together on every occasion, and that includes cooking. It is a labour-intensive cuisine. Pastes are pounded, coconut milk is squeezed, prawns and chilies and turmeric and ginger and galangal are dried. There are a number of basic preparations that make the difference between, dare I say, a quick and nasty Thai takeaway and a superb Thai banquet, which is what you're going to be making. So I suggest that you dedicate the first day of the fortnight or the month to making as many of the preparations as you can. Once you have them in little Ziploc bags or airtight containers, the rest really is quite easy. And one of the first things we need to make is dried ginger, dried galangal, and dried turmeric. Now, of course, you can buy those already dried in an Asian supermarket. But when you taste the difference, and perhaps even more importantly, when you smell the difference, you'll understand why David insists it's worth making your own. And you can make enough to get you through the month very quickly. David would dry these outside in the sun in Thailand. We're going to use a low oven, so about 60 degrees. And we're going to peel a piece of ginger. See these bits on the side? They're the bits that we put aside to use for our stocks. So we want nice even slices just because it's easier to dry them that way. We peel it. Now, David says that some unscrupulous people making commercial versions of these don't peel them because all the weight counts. But again, the devil's in the detail, and the difference between a well-peeled piece and an earthy tasting unpeeled piece is significant. So thin slices, the thinner they are, the quicker they'll dry. I'm not going to try and give you a measurement, but just thin slices. And we're going to pop them on a rack, but I'm going to pop this rack over a tray because with some of the smaller ones, especially the turmeric, as it shrinks, as it dries, it can start to fall through. So we want to catch those on a rack. Now, galangal, especially mature galangal, which we're going to use because it has a better flavour, is quite hard. So please be careful. This isn't one that you can easily peel with a vegetable peeler. This is one where you need your knife, or perhaps a small paring knife might be easier, and you just need to get all of that skin off. Again, if there's knobbly odd bits, put them aside because you can always use them to perfume your stocks or your oils. And now our turmeric. I'm not a big fan of gloves in the kitchen. I think they're a bit unnecessary because it's easier to wash your hands than it is to wash your gloves, and your gloves get just as dirty as your hands. But I'm also not a fan of having hands that look like I'm an old chain smoker. So for the turmeric, I do wear gloves because that gorgeous orange colour that you see there will stain your skin and your chopping boards, in fact, even your knives. It's not just a deep colour, it has almost a resinous nature which really clings to everything. So if you have kitchen gloves, you might just want to pop them on just for this part. So that peels quite easily with the veggie peeler. It's smaller slices, it's the ones that are likely to fall through there, but that's okay because we're going to pop it on a tray, and the same with this. Now, because the galangal's so hard, I find it tends to dry out quicker. The turmeric, perhaps because it's small, takes about the same time, and the ginger tends to take a little bit longer. You don't need to be too precise in your slicing. You're just going to pop it in the oven until it's dry. It could be 2 hours, it could be 4 hours. And you're drying prawns anyway, that's a separate video. So I suggest that you do these all at the same time. So there we are, finally, our little bits of turmeric. You don't need a lot, but once they're dried, you can just pop them in a Ziploc bag and grind them as you need them. All right, into the oven with these guys. As I said, about 60 degrees. If your oven doesn't go as low as 60, then just as low as you can get it to go. Fan forced so that the air moves through it, and check it after 2 hours. It may take 3 or 4. So, after 2 to 4 hours in the oven, here we have it. Our beautiful chips, I guess you could call them, of galangal, of ginger, and look at the colour of this beautiful turmeric. And you're going to pop these in a Ziploc bag. David suggests not grinding them any more than a day or 2 before you need them. I'm going to leave it up to you what you do in the privacy of your own kitchen. You know how busy you are. Obviously, the closer they're ground to being used, the more aromatic they are. So pop them in a Ziploc bag. Label them all: ginger, galangal, turmeric, grind as needed, beautiful white galangal powder, this lovely, almost pale olive I feel it goes, ginger powder, and look at the intensity of that turmeric powder. And when you smell it, there's nothing quite like it. So once you have these dried and ground, a pinch here, a pinch there, it makes things so easy. Let's get on to a few more basics.